Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had a terrible start to my day. So I was planning on bringing you a foundation and powder review today. That's the wrong way around. I mean, do you see what I mean? This day is in the bin. I was really excited to show you the new Pat McGrath foundation and powder. I was going to do a full day wear test. I was going to do it half a face with the powder, half a face without. I was going to live my best reviewing life. I was very excited to try both products and to get this review up just really quickly. If you don't know, being a smaller YouTuber, you have to win the race to get your review up. If you don't get your review up quickly, then you know, YouTube gets flooded with reviews, and the bigger YouTubers with bigger subscriber counts will just steal all your views away. So if you're working really hard like me to grow your channel, trying to help people find you and discover you on YouTube, you have to get your review up quickly. So as soon as these popped up on Selfridges yesterday, I next day deliveried them so I could get them this morning, film my review, film my wear test, and work all night to get the review up ASAP for you guys. I know that I'm a kind of not strange colour. I'm a sort of middle shade, so there's lots of fairer skinned reviews. Hopefully there'll be lots of deeper skin reviews as well. There's already been a few, but with me, with my medium to tan skin, I feel like a lot of the time my reviews are helpful as far as shade. So that's another reason I want to get it up, to help you guys with your shade. I was going to do comparison swatches. I spent hours this morning getting ready and setting up, and then waited in for my delivery. And my delivery arrived, and they sent me the completely wrong shade, to the point where it's completely unusable for me. I ordered shade 18, so those of you who are my summer skin foundation twinsies, 18 was the shade that I felt like would work the best with my olive undertones, that I felt like would be the closest match. And they sent me, even though I ordered shade 18, they sent me shade 26. Good one. I also ordered the powder. I ordered the shade light medium 2 because I wasn't sure shade 18 might be a little bit dark for me. This will help lighten it up. I wanted to try the powder. If you don't know me, I don't use powder. I don't ever set my foundation with powder, but this one sounded like it might be a powder I could get on with. It sounded like a radiant finish, sounded like my kind of thing. It's not gonna completely mattify me, which I hate. I like to be dewy and luminous. They did send me the right shade of the powder. Obviously this shade is so off. I can't swatch it or show you it because obviously in the UK we can't return makeup if you've used it, if you've touched it, even though they've sent me the wrong one. So I don't want to swatch this or anything, or I won't be able to get my money back. And obviously in these glass or frosted bottles, it makes the shade look much lighter, but you can even in the bottle, it's way too dark. So in person, I just feel like if I was to put this on, it's just going to be so off, so deep for me, that it's going to be completely distracting, and it's not going to be a great review because it's very hard to see if you like a foundation when it's 20 shades too dark. So I'm really disappointed and frustrated and annoyed, but I thought we'll salvage something and we'll try the powder. I know some of you will be interested in the powder alone anyway. Like me, if you don't usually use powder, you're thinking maybe this could be a powder that doesn't, you know, take all the shine and the glow and the dew off your skin, then maybe this might be for you. So I thought we'd give it a try. So the first thing to note is the amount you get is only 5 grams. It's a very small amount. The Huda beauty powder is 10, and the Jeffree Star powder that I love, both of these powders I love, are also 10. So it's half the size of like a standard good sized amount of powder. So you do get a small amount. It is £50 in the UK. So it's very expensive for a small amount, which makes it even more expensive. So bear that in mind. The second thing I just want to show you before we start putting it on my face is the packaging is a fail for me. So when it arrived, this is the external box. And by the way, I will put the ingredients on the screen for you. The first ingredient is talc, just an FYI, but I'll put the whole ingredients list on the screen if you want to pause it and check if you have any allergies or anything like that. So this is the jar. It does look nice, it looks classy, it looks beautiful. It came with this sticker inside, which is like the common sticker that we see in powder. I peeled that off, and underneath this had happened. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see. I have now used this powder a couple of times, but it has leaked so much of the powder out, and obviously now that sticker's off, I can't put it back. There's no stopper. I have thoroughly checked the box after the Fenty reviews scenarios. Yeah, there's nothing there. There's a mesh which has completely failed to keep the product inside, and like literally half the powder is now just out inside there. So that is, ooh, it's really annoying and messy, and I'm really disappointed with that. I really feel like this should have a stopper in it, you know, something like that. I feel like the Jeffree Star has a little slidey close thing. I mean, the Huda powder, it doesn't have one of those either, but you can see it does a better job of keeping it inside. There's a little bit of excess there, but kind of the amount that you would probably put on your face anyway, whereas that, when I first opened it, it was like almost like the whole thing was dumped out into the top of that mesh. So you're going to waste a lot that way. It's not going to be travel friendly if you're a makeup artist or someone who travels a lot, because you're just going to be like dumping powder out every time you open it. It all flies into the atmosphere, and it's hard to control how much goes on your brush when that much is sitting in there as well. So that's just the two things I want to point out. One, the packaging is messy, and you're going to lose a lot. Two, it's incredibly expensive for a small amount of powder. Oh, and before we start, I do just want to let you know that I'm not going to be using this powder under my eyes today. I used it, I set my concealer with it this morning, and I had to take my whole makeup off because I do not think this powder is a good thing under your eyes. It aged me horrifyingly. So I would not recommend this. If you're thinking about this as an under eye, like a concealer setting powder, I would not recommend it. I just found it extremely aging on lines and wrinkles. If you have very, very young skin, maybe it'll be fine, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm 35 and it did me no favors, so I won't be using it to set my concealer areas. It was not good, frankly. And it doesn't claim to be, it doesn't say anywhere to set your concealer to use it under the eyes. It definitely seems to be, you know, a foundation setting powder, so just an FYI. Okay, so here is the little jar, and it is a twist off jar. And this was, you know, it arrived, it had this little plastic seal that you sort of, or paper seal that you peel off, and that was, it was just flying everywhere. Obviously now it's here, it's going to sit in my drawer, and hopefully this will resolve over time. But if you ever want to leave your house with this powder, every time it's just gonna, you're just going to waste so much. So that is really disappointing. I feel like there should be an actual seal. Do you remember when Fenty released their powder and the seal was like hidden in the box somewhere and everyone thought there wasn't one? And I have searched this box. There doesn't seem to be one. But I wish there was, because I think that is really poor design. It's just, it's everywhere, it's flying through the air. A lot is going to get wasted, and that is really disappointing. Anyway, as I said, I'm not going to use this under my eyes. I've used my Jeffree Star powder under my eyes as always today. So you can see, because all the powder's leaked out, I'm just touching my brush in there and it's picking up so much because there's so much above the mesh. So I'm gonna extremely heavily tap this off. By the way, this is my Japanese powder brush. It's definitely a very fine powder, so I'm using like a normal amount, and I'm just going to go in on this side first. My upper lip is sweating, so that's cool. Fantastic. So I'm going to go in on this side, and as you can see, the foundation I've used today is the Benefit Hello Happy Flawless Hydrating that I reviewed a few weeks ago. If you want to check that one out, it is a very glowy BB. A very glowy baby. And the reason I don't like setting powder is because it just takes all of this glow and this lovely, fresh, healthy, natural looking skin away and flattens everything down. But as this claims to be quite a radiant powder, I thought maybe this might be the powder for me. I like the sort of idea that powder adds longevity and all of that stuff, stops oils coming through, stops your makeup breaking down, it can smooth things out. You know, powders like bronzer, blush go on top of it nicer and smoother, but it takes away my glow, and I need it. I need the glow. So you can definitely see this side is like very dewy and glowy. This side is not as wet and dewy looking. So you can see on this side it's very glowy dewy. On this side it's still got luminosity, but it's taken the glow and just really toned it down. But my skin looks so much smoother. Let's just have a look at this kind of area. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but this area around my nose where I have like pores and texture and all that jazz is definitely smoother on this side. It's definitely smoothed and refined everything. I can definitely tell that. It's evened everything out. It's definitely got some coverage to the powder, because there is a slight colour change as well, but everything just looks really beautiful and smooth and even. Yeah, it does look good. Let's do the other side with some of that got tacked off in the cap. She says to sweep it. So I'm sweeping. I mean, who am I to not listen to mother? She also says it's very buildable formula, this powder. So if you want more coverage, especially if you're using it with her foundation, lots of people I've seen talking about the foundation are disappointed with the coverage. Not that you should have to buy a powder, you know, to get the coverage you want, but if you also have the powder, if you bought the set, then you are probably going to be able to build up a little coverage with the powder. I'm definitely someone who's not used to powder. I'm not used to powdering my whole face. I hardly ever, if not never, I never do it. I don't want to lie to you, I never do it. I don't like setting my foundation for the reasons I said. It takes the glow, takes the shine, it feels heavier. You know, being not 20 years old, any extra products that you don't need, you know, age you. So I'm not really someone who's used to powder, but let me tell you, I can't feel it. I can't even see it really. My skin definitely does not look powdered. It doesn't look powdery. It doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look heavy. It just looks very, very silky and smooth, and it still has luminosity. And obviously I've only just put this on, so I feel like throughout the day, as with any foundation, you'll probably get more of a glow. This is a very glowy, dewy foundation, so the fact that it's still got the luminosity there, it hasn't completely taken it all away, but it has definitely smoothed and refined my skin and definitely added coverage as well. Okay guys, so I've now had my makeup on for about 8 hours, and I have to say I definitely feel the powder has kept my makeup on in place and how I want it to look for definitely longer than my foundation usually wears without the powder. So I definitely feel it's going to do a decent job at setting your makeup, increasing your longevity, just increasing. I feel like whenever I've looked in the mirror today, like when I've gone to the bathroom and things like that, I just feel like I look really polished, more so than usual, because I like a luminous, dewy, glowy finish, but that can, you know, look shiny in certain lights and a bit uneven and just things like that. It can, you know, exaggerate texture. I feel like I'm still looking luminous and glowy, but in a polished, uniform, smooth way, if that makes sense. It definitely set my foundation down, but it isn't transfer free or anything like that. I took a flash photo and there is no bounce back whatsoever with the powder, so that's something that you don't have to worry about. I just want to zoom you in on my schnoz. I have pretty normal skin, but I do have a slightly oily T-zone, and at the moment it's very hot and humid here in the UK, and we got caught in a rainstorm earlier, so if you see any little dots or something like that, that's what's been going on. So you can see I'm a little shiny around here and definitely shiny down the bridge of my nose and around my nose, which I normally would be, but obviously the powder hasn't like stopped that happening. So I think if you have oily skin and you're wanting this powder to like keep oils at bay, I don't think it's going to do that. I don't think it's really that type of powder. I don't think it claims to do that. I think this is about like setting the foundation, and I think it's designed to give a smooth, poreless, flawless finish, but I don't necessarily think it's like designed to be oil controlling, or if it is, for me, I don't think it's going to do that for you if you have oily skin. I think you'd probably be better off with a very mattifying powder. Yeah, so I just had a little peek at the Pat McGrath website and the description of the powder, and it definitely doesn't claim to be oil controlling or say anything about controlling oils. So yeah, that's my advice. If you're looking for it to, you know, keep your oily skin under control for, you know, 10 hours or something, I don't think it's going to do that. It's about giving a gorgeous, beautiful finish to the skin with products just going on beautifully on top of it. I feel like highlight, blush, bronzer, everything has lasted gorgeously today and just looks smooth and polished and absolutely flawless. But yeah, it hasn't controlled like my oily schnoz. That's what I'm going to say to you. So there you have it. That is kind of everything I have to tell you about this powder. The pros are it gives a beautiful, flawless finish. It's very smoothing and refining. I love the like luminosity to the skin, but keeping everything, you know, not too shiny or dewy. I definitely feel like my makeup lasted really, really well. It was very easy to put on. No scent, nothing that was, you know, affected me. The cons are I don't think it is good under the eyes, which would be good if it could do all things powdery. It was definitely too heavy under the eyes. It definitely aged me on my OAP under eye bags. But yeah, the other thing, the major thing really for me is the packaging. I just wish it had a more enclosed, neater, tidier packaging that wasn't just gonna spill all over this shop. So yeah, that is the major con, and obviously the price and the amount. So there's three cons: the price, the amount, the packaging as far as containment. But other than that, I think it's a beautiful powder for someone who doesn't really like powders, who doesn't like the look or feel of being or feeling powdery, who doesn't like being mattified ever. I really, really enjoy it and love how it looks. So I guess that is the overriding pro. I hope you found this review helpful, and I would love to see you in a future video. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.